What's up guys, and welcome back to On the Brick with another custom mock review. Today I actually have two for you, as they are both very similar. I actually thought they both came from the same creator, but apparently not. You'll probably recognize the one on the left as Sisyphus from JK Brickworks. And the one on the right is actually the Hammering Man from a guy called TIMEREMEMBERED. That took me a little longer to figure out than it should have. Both are these mechanical builds that move with a little lever, and full disclosure, both have been built using non-Lego pieces. It was just a lot cheaper than getting real pieces. But if you are interested, there is a part kit for JK Brickworks Sisyphus using real Lego pieces. You can find that in the description down below. And speaking of part kits, by the way, my birthday is later this week, and to celebrate, I am taking 14% off of all orders on my website for this week only. Minifigures, instructions, and all part kits are 14% off. Discount is applied automatically. All you need to do is check out my web store, onthebrick.fun. Link is in the description down below as well. Sisyphus here is quite a build. It contains about 12 to 1300 pieces. In all honesty, I have found different numbers depending where I've looked, but 1200 pieces is safe to say. While this can be automated, and we'll get into that, it is primarily a display piece. The instructions for this are completely free. You can find them in several different places, including in the description down below. And they're okay. They're not bad by any means. I have seen so much worse, as I'm sure you know. But there were some moments I feel like could have been done a little better, or perhaps some build sequences that could have been done differently. Like I said though, it wasn't bad or frustrating, so you should have no problem actually putting this thing together. The base of this model is built in a Greek relief style and showcases several moments from Sisyphus's life. For instance, on the front here we have him in his chariot and horse attacking visitors to his kingdom. On the side here we actually have Hades being chained up in the underworld. Sisyphus was supposed to be chained up himself, but he turned the tables on Hades and got him chained up instead. On the other side is apparently a dinner party that he was hosting, where he also attacked several guests. And then on the final side, we see Zeus with his lightning bolts, who finally had enough of Sisyphus and decided to punish him. And that is what is on top of this build. Sisyphus was doomed to eternally push a boulder up a mountain, only for it to roll all the way back down and having him do it again. And I love how this looks. He did a really great job designing this boulder here, and obviously this is the redesign. It is built using just a basic technique in the middle and then the panels on the side. If you've ever built a sphere in Lego, it's that technique. And Sisyphus himself looks really good. I love how he managed to capture the look of a human here. You can see the details of a face. Obviously you're not going to be able to see like the individual eyes or nose or anything like that, but enough is there to understand it. And one thing I really love about this, and designers like JK, is that he actually made sure to not use rare pieces this time. Like I said, this is a redesigned version, and when he was doing that redesign, he made sure to switch out those rare pieces, as something like this was $24 on Bricklink at the time that he was doing the redesign. And honestly, it's really nice to see designers actually do that and not just say it. And yes, this can move, but I need to show you the one slight problem I have with this build, and hopefully you can help me figure out what's going on. As you can see here, the right leg keeps hitting the back of this build. I don't really know why, I don't know what's going on with it, but it does cause problems and is a big reason I haven't motorized this yet. I know for a fact, because I've seen other people build this, that it should work, and so I'm guessing I just built it wrong at some point. I have gone over the instructions though. I've torn this thing apart and pretty much tried to rebuild it to see. And from what I can tell, I did build it correctly. We're gonna open this up in a second, so maybe you'll notice something I didn't, but if you have any ideas, please do let me know. You can actually open this thing up. It is really smooth. I just forgot to take off the handle. And you can see the interior with all the mechanics and everything. It's actually kind of surprising just how much there isn't inside of this. But if I put the handle back on and start rotating it, maybe you'll see something that I don't, or that I've missed. If you noticed a missing piece earlier, it actually was there. It's a slope that I removed because the black Technic lift arm kept hitting it and this wouldn't work at all. It's only by removing that I was able to make this work even remotely. but you can tell the right leg doesn't really go as far down as it should until it's really far into its motion and then it's too low. Like I said, if you have any idea, I would appreciate it because this is a nice build. Also, this giant space here is where the power functions would go if you chose to go that route. Now, you can actually open up the other side as well, and that is why there is an option to buy this set without the pedestal and just the mechanics. And while I once again show you the walking feature, I do want to mention something for those of you who know non-LEGO. I am 99% certain that these pieces were not provided by JKBrickworks. They do not really clutch together that well. They're not horrible, but I have seen much better quality, and that's why you've probably noticed that there's been gaps and whatnot throughout this entire video so far. In other words, if I didn't build this wrong, that's probably the reason it's not working. Also, really quick, if you do buy the non-LEGO version of this, be aware that it doesn't come with some pieces. For some reason, none of the minifigures are included, you have to get those separately. The spears were not correct, I had to get those. And these giant panel pieces, of which there are a good few, are also sent in the incorrect size, at least from where I got it. All that said, I bought this for closer to $60, which was about $200 cheaper than the official LEGO version. So even with having to buy those replacement parts, it still was significantly cheaper and not too bad at all, especially because, like I said, this is mainly a display piece, and in that regards, it works perfectly. You know, I'm not sitting here playing with this a lot or opening up or anything. It sits on a shelf on display, and that's what I want it to do. Like I said, I also got the Hammering Man, which came from TIMEREMEMBERED. This build contains only 239 pieces and is far simpler and unfortunately doesn't really work. You can see all the gears on this side. It is a pretty simple build and all. And one thing to keep in mind is that with all these chain pieces, you do have to do them individually. This is by no means a difficult or challenging build at all, but if I show you it in motion, you'll notice a problem. The hammer goes up, the hammer does not come down. And if I flip this around, you should be able to tell exactly why. There is a little mechanic at the top of this build that raises the hammer, but unfortunately nothing is there to bring it back down. I suppose gravity might have to do that or something, I don't actually know. This was only like $10 or something like that. It was ridiculously cheap to get, and that's why I did it anyway. And again, it looks nice as a display piece next to Sisyphus, and I'm honestly not too worried at all about it not really working that well. I also haven't seen anyone else build this thing yet. Those were my thoughts on all this, but let me know yours. Things like this are a little weird to talk about, as despite being large, there's not much there. So next week, I'm going to do the exact opposite, and I'm going to look at something a little smaller with a good amount of detail from a movie that I absolutely love. Do remember to subscribe and like if you liked what you saw. I don't know why I said that one out of order. And remember to check out my web store where everything is 14% off this week. Also, a huge thank you to all of my patrons for their constant and wonderful support, especially people like Jonathan and Project Elements. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.